What is up, race fans of the internet? You are listening to the Talkin' Dirt episode for Thursday, May 11th, 2023. On today's episode, we sit down and talk with Matthew Pridgeon for quite a while. Matt had a good couple of weeks here. We talk about his past couple of weeks of racing as well as some of the other results and such from Sumter Speedway. And then we get into about an hour and a half interview with Banjo Duke. Banjo talked about a lot of stuff, being a father while racing and so many other things. And that was a really fun conversation. Y'all are going to definitely enjoy that one. And that's coming up here in about 30 minutes on the program. So y'all stick with us. This one's going to be fun. Y'all have a listen and enjoy this episode of the Talkin' Dirt podcast. Riding high. You were riding high. You're riding real high.
I still am. People don't know how fast I was.
Well,
they saw where I was.
No, dude. How on a scale of 1 to 10, how intense was the filling of the britches on the last lap of the race yesterday?
I never got tensed up or nothing.
No, not at all.
I kind of saw it happening.
Well, yeah, true.
There was enough room there. I didn't have to freak out.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're probably what, 4 or 5 car lengths back. So I mean, yeah, you can see
probably about
it, yeah.
about 3 or 4 car lengths back. Yeah.
Just disagree with me then. Thank you. Just disagree with. But I mean, dude, until a little contact there, your car looked real good.
Yeah, I mean, there early on it was great. Obviously got off to a fantastic start, but it just the cautions kept happening.
Right.
Once I seen the last restart, I seen who was beside me, I knew that they were going to have a pretty much a better restart than I would.
I was really upset with you, by the way. Both of the restarts, I was saying up there that you needed to pick the top. 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 What did you do? You picked the bottom. You picked the bottom. You picked the bottom. You picked the bottom.
No. Listen, I got great jumps every start we had. I had fantastic jumps.
Sure.
On the bottom.
Sure.
I felt like the top was very sandy, so no, I did not choose the top. I mean, I was successful on the bottom every other restart. Why would I choose the top?
Right. I mean, you got timed up, I guess. Well, to put it fairly, you got timed up.
Well, not trying to create any excuses. I should have drove better and had a better restart in order not to let this happen. But Dalton does have a lot more horsepower than not a lot, but enough more horsepower to where it does make a difference on those restarts. Yeah, and he was able to get and he was like I said. Once I seen he was beside me, I pretty much knew what was going to happen from there.
Yeah,
like as far as the restart.
Yeah, he was going to get
him getting out in front of me.
I mean, and then it kind of looked like you got a little flustered because you got caught up in 3.
We did make a little bit of contact. I don't know it.
I mean, it
could.
Bad,
I think it may have been a tire rod in. I don't know. I haven't got it. I really haven't looked at the car. I got it out, got it in the shop, and took the body off, and that's all I've done to it. I really haven't had the chance to look at it, but so not anything, it didn't hurt nothing. I don't think too bad. If it did, it'd probably a tire rod in and nothing too big.
And this was just last night. So, I mean, obviously you hadn't had too much time to think about it. I mean, it's not like, hey, I'll say this. Y'all didn't come to blows like that street stock race did. So you did all right. Yeah, street stock was wild, man. And uncalled for. That's the thing. It was all uncalled for. The thing that led to it and the action itself, it was all uncalled for, but it happens. It's racing. Wild night. That was probably the wildest night that we've had at Sumter there in quite a while.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was wild. But yeah, Matt, we're back on the Talkin' Dirt podcast. I know I started in the middle of your You talking about your race last night? You finish. I think you
Fourth.
bounced back, finished fourth or third? Fourth, fourth.
Started third, was
Worked
running
your way to
second,
second.
fell back to fifth, and then finished fourth.
It was funny. Yeah, as we pulled up yesterday to the track, and I realized that the Mints boys were there. Matt got to the track. I shook his hand and I said, "I'll see you in second place." And I did for a while. I felt bad after because I kind of foreshadowed that something was going to happen, and he coughed it up right there at the end and fell back. But I mean, I'm not disappointed for you. I think you showed
No,
composure. That's the thing.
we definitely showed a lot of speed and showed that
Well,
we still belong up front, but
well, the biggest thing for me,
just circumstances last night. You know,
is you showed a lot of composure. A lot of composure in that, when the going got tough there, you were able to rebound a lot quicker than you have in the past.
yeah.
Because I've been watching you race now since I think your second year on a late model, and I've seen those moments. You'll be doing good. Friendship, great example. The one time that I traveled with you, you were doing good for like 3 or 4 laps. Hit one bobble in. I was like turn 2 there or whatever, and lap after lap, you just couldn't get it back. But last night, you did a great job at facing adversity and rebounding, which was great
Well,
to
one
see.
thing I have been working my tail off on all year is staying calm in
Right,
and out the
right,
car.
right, right.
I get worked up a lot. Nerves and tensions are high in the sport,
Well,
and I've really been trying to work on just staying calm because
right.
if you know me, I wear my emotions on my sleeve.
Yeah.
I don't hide how I feel.
You definitely do not. But I mean, you're not alone, man. You're not alone at all. There's hundreds, thousands of drivers who are the exact same way. One thing happens, they get flustered and they can't get it back. I've seen it a million times. I've been doing this a long time now. And actually, coming up a little bit later on the program here, Banjo Duke in house, and we talked about a lot of the same stuff. And he gave you a nice little shout out, Matt. So you're gonna enjoy hearing that. He gave you a nice little shout out there, and a lot of
Forward
other
to that.
guys. Yeah, you're gonna look forward to it. And everybody else out there, yeah, Banjo Duke coming up here and just a little bit on the program. But Matt and I are going to talk about the last couple of weeks. First off, I do want to say I apologize that there wasn't an episode these past couple of weeks. I've been a little under the weather, I just haven't been feeling up and chipper enough to record. The couple days that I had a chance, I ended up working late, and yeah, it's the struggles you go through when you're trying to build a multimedia empire and you work a full-time job as well as help run a racetrack. So it happens, but we're back another episode of Talking Dirt here. And Matt, of course, is with us. And Matt, we talk about the lows first. Let's talk about the highs. You had probably your best run in a late model, I'd say. Just a couple of weeks ago. I mean, obviously, this past weekend, last night it's not the worst. It definitely wasn't the worst. You rebounded. You were fast. You were probably, if you go back and look at the lap times, you were probably the second, third quickest car on the track. I mean, it's
No, I was fourth.
fourth, whatever, same thing. I mean, yeah, Dalton was down there turning 14s, and I mean, it was quick. I'll give him that. It was quick,
I
but
wasn't far off. I wasn't far off.
the thing is, with those cars, I mean, even though at times Dalton was running faster lap times than Justin, yeah, Dalton was running faster lap times than you when he was trailing you, whatever. Those cars are so air dependent now. And you know this as well as anybody, and people listening that run late models, they know too. These late models now, they're so air dependent. Like if you get caught up behind somebody, especially on a racetrack like Sumter where everybody's fighting for the same real estate, fighting for the same groove, if you can't go out wide, make something happen, and get clean air, you're not going to pass that person 9 times out of 10. And I feel like once you got shuffled back, fifth there, that's kind of what killed all your momentum for a while.
Well, it's also hard when you're because you have when you're racing different motors.
Sure.
To me, it's kind of hard to race behind them because you have to drive them so differently. Like
Right.
those guys have to slow up in the corner more than I have to. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can carry more speed through the corner,
Uh huh.
but they're going to pick up speed more once we get out of the corner.
Right.
So I mean, it it is a struggle, at least for me, when I'm behind them because I don't think I'm that good enough yet to where I can, try to maneuver around them or keep up with them.
Right.
As we saw, I and thank God I didn't, but I almost spun out Brian Ridgway
Yeah, yeah,
last
yeah.
night in turn three, and when I did that, it threw me way wide and allowed the four car around me, and that's
Right.
how I fell back to fifth. So I mean, that is definitely one thing I do have to work on. But
Right.
I don't necessarily think it's air matters as much as you think it does at Sumter.
At Sumter,
I do
maybe
think it
not,
does
but
play a factor, but not as much as it would at
well,
Lakeview per se.
yeah, sure. Those bigger, wider tracks, yeah, sure. That it does. It plays a whole lot more of a factor. You got a point there. You got a point, but it still matters at Sumter, and that's kind of what
Yeah,
we
yeah,
saw
yeah. I'm not saying it
there.
doesn't matter.
And even even 2 weeks ago, I mean, you started fourth and worked your way up. I mean, if there's one thing
Yeah.
you have learned here in the past year, it's how to pass a race car on a tight racetrack because you made something happen there. You
Yeah.
finished second 2 weeks ago
It is possible to pass without
at
touching.
Sumter. It is
Well,
possible.
I no, there was a little bit of touch there, but you know,
Oh man, and I mean,
it,
yeah, it was a great
yeah,
run. I called you. You had me jumping up and down on the tower, man. Because I mean, guys, I'll be honest. Of course, I try to be as impartial as I can, but at the end of the day, it was my best friend racing, so I'm gonna, the announcer of me isn't gonna make it known, but the friend in my body was jumping up and down for Matt, even though you couldn't tell over the loudspeaker there because I have to be professional, of course, and I will continue to be professional until the day that I retire. But I was cheering as hard as I ever have for anybody, for you, and just to see
I
the smile on
appreciate
your
that.
face after that second place run um was great, but it'd have been even sweeter.
Yeah,
I told Sissy, I said if Matt wins this race, I'm gonna have to call a race or two from the victory lane because I'm going down there. Um and I would have 100% done it. I'd have climbed up on top of the concession stand or something,
I
and
believe it.
I would have been behind the victory lane signing all the pictures, just holding up my fingers. Um But no, that was a fun night, and we were out of there by 9:30 that night. So I mean, hey,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
last night
right
was
before the rain, because me
hold
and
on,
you met up at the
yes,
gas
we did.
station down the road,
Yeah, because you
and
told me you had me a hat,
while
and
we
you
were
didn't give it
standing
to
there
me.
talking, we
Started raining.
the rain started coming down.
Well, and I mean, last night wasn't bad. We were done what 10:30, 10:45.
Yeah, it wasn't too
I mean,
bad.
it wasn't like a normal. It wasn't like an old school, 2 o'clock Sumter Speedway night. So I mean, we did something. We're hitting on all cylinders right now, and in all the winners. Congratulations to them. But Matt, I guess where we go from here is I
Well,
need
I'm
you
not gonna
to
lie to
stay
you. I know
consistent.
I've been against on the podcast before. I've been against the hot lap qualifying, but the past couple weeks
It's
I
working.
haven't
It's working on
minded
your
it. I'm
favor.
not gonna lie. I've been enjoying it the past couple weeks.
Well, and the reason we're doing it back to it right now is dude, it has saved us so much time in these past couple of
It
weeks.
did.
It really
It,
is.
it has.
It really has, man. And I enjoy. I want to give you guys hot laps. I want to do all that, but when we're up against the wall, running 6, 7, 8 classes, you got to do what you got to do to get the show in, and the racers understand that, and you understand that, and the fans understand it. So I mean, it's kind of what's best for business, to throw a cliche term
Right.
out there. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to stick to, probably, unless we have just a local night or whatever. And I mean, don't take my word for that. I guess we're gonna see where you lie in the point standings right now. I know you've only raced with us twice, but you've had two darn good runs. As far as points are
Yeah.
concerned, that is.
I
Um,
don't think I'm gonna be able to make like
no,
the
no, no.
rest
I'm not saying that. No.
because yeah, I've already missed 2 points races, so
Well,
I'd
you
have
do
to make
get two
every other
drop
one.
races, so
Huh?
you said you get two drop races, so make every other one. You're good.
Oh, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that.
Ah, come on, man. But I mean, still though, no matter what you decide to do, you got my support, and you got the listener
Right.
support. Everybody who listens, TD Nation, we'll call it. This is the first time I ever said that. I'm gonna trademark that phrase right now. Um, but yeah, man, we've been busy with a bunch of other stuff. You and I and James. Speaking of James, real quick, we're gonna get into Banjo Duke here in a little bit, but I feel terrible for James right now. Caught up in
Yeah.
a wreck of not his doing, and I don't place any blame on Taylor either. the guy that he ended up wrecking with.
I really haven't seen what happened
It
there.
looked like he
So
cut a tire. It looked like he cut I've heard that he cut a tire. I didn't see it personally, but I heard he cut a tire and he was trying to get down to the bottom and get out of everybody's way. And James just happened to be there. And again, I hate that. I don't think James's car is too hurt. I think it broke a bunch of spring steel is what happened because there was relatively no body damage. Might have got a shock, maybe. Is what I'm thinking.
yeah, it did.
It might have got a shock, but I know that there was some spring steel damage at least. I hate that for James, and I hope that they're able to rebound here. But yeah, one of those consistent guys that's consistently right there in the top 5, and
Should be the point leader. That's
he
something.
most likely is, I think, because he's pretty consistent there. Yeah, James is one of my good buddies. He's busting tail, man. He's trying the best with the equipment he's got. So yeah, hats off to them, and hopefully they'll be back here in a couple weeks. Good thing is that we do have a week break here. No racing this weekend for us. Mother's Day coming up this
Racing
weekend.
for me.
Is there racing for you? Where are you going to be at this weekend?
Darlington, baby.
Oh yeah, you're going to old asphalt NASCAR racing, baby. Just sit down there in turn 3. Sit in turn 3 and watch them go fast, turn left.
This will be like...
Man, you're going to be cheering for my boy Ross Chastain.
This is going to be like my 20th year in a row, I think. Roundabout. I'm pretty sure it's around my 20th, if not like closing in on 25.
For somebody who's so against NASCAR, you seem to really love, Darlington.
Well, see, my uncle... we're pretty much grandfathered in because my uncle used to work for the asphalt company that actually used to pave the track.
Right.
And then he was just always able to get his hands on the same tickets every year. So it still to this day. So we pretty much get to go, I
see what you're saying.
I don't know if he pays for them now or if he still gets them for free. Well, I don't see how he can't get them for free, but he tells us he does.
Sure.
So.
Hey, keep that on the low. Keep that on the low. But yeah, so you're gonna be at NASCAR this weekend. I'll be doing Mother's Day stuff, having some fun here.
We still gonna have Mother's Day, trust me.
Oh yeah, definitely gotta. Old Mama Pridge need her flowers and some other stuff there. I've enjoyed seeing her at the track here recently. Really enjoyed seeing old Mama Pridge come out. Yeah, other things we need to talk about here. I thought it was cool. I saw one of your family members, Chance, back in a race car, driving a Stock 8 car at Lakeview. He seemed to be catching the drift once again. Looks like he's going to be.
He's got some setup stuff to work on.
He does.
Johnny was with him yesterday, and he's got some setup stuff to work on. He had a few things wrong with the front end, and his stagger, and stuff like that. So
it's all a learning curve to get back into it. It's all a learning curve.
Hey, but he didn't have a bad finish for his first night out.
Yeah, he didn't. Who ended up winning that race?
I think he finished like 8th.
I believe Blaze Bryan ended up winning that one, right? The race for Mr. Best. Blaze wins that one. Bailey Lofton won the $3,000 race, I believe. Without looking at it, I'm like 99% sure Bailey Lofton won that race. Because
that's the
44 car.
44, yep.
Yeah, okay.
That's
so Bailey Lofton wins that one. I believe a couple Sumter locals in there mixing it up with. I think Lil Terry finished 2nd, Mikey finished 3rd, and Austin finished 4th. So good run for Sumter boys. That traveled over there for that one. And then
that big points fun.
Yeah, it's a massive points fun for the street stocks. That was pretty entertaining race to watch a couple of videos from over there at Lakeview. Of course, at Sumter, we had the Mid-East Modifieds in the house. Tyler Love took victory in that one. Old T Love out of Rock Hill, one of my favorite guys to watch. I remember watching him, racing Gaffney and whatnot in his street stock back in the day, and now he's in a modified for the past couple of years, doing pretty good.
You know what's funny about him?
What's that?
When we got into go-karts, we heard about this motor builder named Eddie Mishu, and we sold out to buy a Mishu motor, and that is who we bought my first Mishu motor from.
That's interesting. He's been doing that for a long. He's been doing this for a long time.
It's funny because every time we see him, my dad goes, I said we bought your mission motor from.
Man, your dad's one of my
But
favorite people, man. Your dad is one of my absolute favorite people. He was mad at you last
mine
night.
too.
He was so mad at you last night. I don't know if you knew that or not, but he was. I watched him. He
Yeah.
walked under the ring. He's throwing his hands up at you and everything.
So I'm just saying, if you see my mom in the stands and my dad in the track,
It's
you
not
understand why I wear my emotions on my
It's-
sleeve. You see where I get it from.
It's
I
not
get
a
it from
good
both
look,
sides.
baby. Oh man, but nah, I think he's probably still pleased with the rebound.
No. We're both happy with
yeah.
last night's run.
No, I was just saying at that very particular point, that next caution that came out, he was not happy with you at all.
Yeah, he was telling me I need to stay down on the track.
That's right. But no, other things that's up there. Walter Anderson wins Thunder Bomber, put the 57 back in victory lane there. You had little John Harper Livingston, 13-year-old, wins in Street Stock, his first Street Stock win. He has 2 Thunder Bomber wins, a handful of Extreme 4 wins, but finally achieved his first win in the Street Stock class. So congratulations to John Harper, one of my favorite kids around the racetrack. I enjoy that young man's company. He's wild, man. I don't know if you talked to this kid before, but he's a wild youngin.
I seen him for the first time. I
Really?
was standing there with James, and I asked James, I said, is that the kid that drives 07? He said, yeah. I was like, that's a little fella there, but man,
I
I tell you what, that boy can wheel that street stock.
Hey.
I've liked watching him the past couple weeks.
Yeah, he gets up on the wheel, man. He's still young and learning, but he gets up on the wheel. He ain't afraid to mix it up now. I'll tell you that. He ain't afraid to mix it up with nobody, nowhere. He'll get up there and do that. Jack Jordan wins Modified 4. I'm just running this off the top of my head, guys. Just try to get through this real quick. Extreme 4 went to Wesley Keller. I almost said Wilsley. I mixed both of their names up. Wesley Keller wins Extreme 4. Kendall Boatwright wins Econo 4 for the third week in a row. He has track protested. Everything was legal on the car. He gets his win, his money, his trophy, and his sticker. Let's see. What else am I missing here? Super
Thunder
Street.
Bomber, did you say that?
Thunder Bomber was Walter Anderson, and Super Street was Ryan Wynn. And of course, the late model race, Justin Mintz. You didn't even have to ask. Justin Mintz.
I mean,
obviously. King Mintz crowned the man. Crowned King Mintz. He owns Sumter Speedway now, apparently. But I'm just waiting on. I need you to beat him one time just to see what'll happen. Just one time, please, man. I don't care. I don't care if
I was hoping
cheat. I don't care what
James,
you do.
I was talking to James at the driver's meet, and I said, hopefully he had a little bit of mercy on us and brought out the 602.
Well, imagine he just falls to the rear because he wants to see somebody else win.
Hey,
man, he's great.
Maybe if he was the first to qualify now,
sure,
that might have been a different story.
That's what he should do. That should be his handicap. When next time Justin shows up, he is forced to race or forced to qualify first out of everybody. That would be something there. But no, Justin is absolutely dominant, man. Watch out for him.
Even if you put
Blue
him in
Ridge,
the back, he's still gonna be at the front at the end, if not in the lead.
Yeah, Blue Ridge is in town next week, and that's my early pick. I don't know what the odds are right now, but that if I was a betting man, that's my pick is Justin Mintz for that race there. So I think that's all the classes is something about. Anything that we need to talk about before we head on to the Banjo Duke interview? What else you got?
I just want to say the track, in my opinion, was great last night. I don't care what anybody else says. As far as the driver point of view, from a driver point of view, the track at feature time, at least for my feature, was perfect. Was it very slippery?
Yeah.
Yes, but I like the slick tracks. I say it all the time. It separates the drivers from the steering wheel holders.
Sure.
But as a fan standpoint, when I went up to watch the Extreme 4 and the
Modifieds.
Street Stock.
Oh, Street Stock. Okay.
Or Modified 4, or whichever, the front wheel drives.
Did you see the hands thrown, baby? The hands was thrown last night in Street Stock. I forgot to talk about that.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that. But
they had a little bit of a tussle.
I was at the concession stand getting a drink while that was going on.
Oh, man, you missed the best part. Oh,
but
the hands was thrown, baby.
But from the fan standpoint, it was terrible trying to watch. I could not see anything down the front straightaway.
Yeah, you're right
But,
there. We're gonna try and do a little bit better.
it
for
is
next
what
week.
it is. And I did burn a brand new right rear.
Yeah, we're gonna try and do a little bit better for the next couple of weeks. Of course, no racing at Sumter this weekend. We will be back on the 20th with the, I believe, Blue Ridge is in town and the American Racer Modified. So that one should be a lot of fun. And then we take the next week off for Memorial Day, and then we race all through June. So y'all get ready for that. But I guess, Matt, at this point, let's actually go ahead and turn it over. Here is our Talking Dirt interview with Banjo Duke. Real quick, before we get into the Banjo Duke interview, I do want to warn you guys there are one or two spots towards the end of the interview where one of my little fur babies decided that he was going to come in and interrupt real quick. You can hear it in the background. It promise you it doesn't ruin the whole thing. You can still understand what David's saying. So y'all just bear that in mind as you listen to this. But here is Banjo Duke. So we've got guest Banjo Duke and two puppies.
Yeah, you're right.
Two puppies. Both are mine. Both are a handful. Let's do this number. Let's do this number. All right.
Yeah.
Banjo Duke.
What's up, you dog?
What's up, you dog?
Long time no see.
Long time no see. It actually was, man. You hadn't raced. Well, you've raced. Let's see, what, twice this year? 2-3 times.
I ran Scriven.
And, let's see.
Scriven, Sumter with the 602 car.
602. Yeah.
And in Fayetteville, I think.
Yeah, you ran something with the
that Super Street car. Yeah,
no, it wasn't a Super Street car. It was a. Well, yeah, you did run the Super Street car. That's right. But
you're talking about Dixie Metal? Yeah, that was a good time.
That was how'd that happen?
Oh,
I know you know that guy.
Yeah, me and Bill have been talking about getting up forever, and he's got a really, really nice piece. His piece, I mean, he's got a really good race car. We got behind the 8 ball when we went to the night before. The transmission wouldn't bleed out. We couldn't get the clutch to work and some stuff like that. We tried some things on the car, and come to find out when we get there on race day, you're pulling a 525 crate motor, and they just can't hang with those big motors. I think me and Mintz were. I think me, Mintz, and Cale Green were the top 3 525s.
But you say that a 525 couldn't pull with those big old crate motors, but you just think, what, 3 years ago maybe?
Yeah.
What was it, 3 years ago you won a super race with a 525? So, I mean, they can do something now.
No, it all depends on the racetrack. So if you got a tacky racetrack, come qualifying, it's hard to compete with 700 horsepower compared to 520. So it's like I said, it puts you behind the 8 ball because we're pretty much on the floor and our cars are bogging,
right?
And theirs are wound up. But I mean, we're a little off in the race, and we had a top 5 car. We just got behind 8 ball in the heat race with Dixie Metalworks car, and had a little skip in the center, and we finally figured that out for come race time, and had a wreck in the very first turn that put us back to dead last, and then we came back up running the top at Sumter. Actually, that was the most fun I've ever raced at Sumter.
And I was about to say that because that's probably the most that I've seen anybody use the top at Sumter. That particular race, not just you, because you got out there, and then who else? Johnny Pridgeon.
Yeah, Donnie was hitting it on restarts, and me and Dustin.
That's the other.
Yeah, I got past Dustin on the outside, and Dustin's like, man, I saw that. After I rewatched the tape, I saw that he realized it was working too, and me and him pretty much worked our way on up. I was up to like 8th, from like 24th, and then he ended up finishing like 4th or 5th from the top.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he passed his way on up. So
you ended up pulling off. What? I can't remember why.
I was having to drive. I drove half the race with one hand. It kept popping out of gear.
It popped out of gear. That's what old Taylor told me. Taylor blew us off, by the way, guys. Taylor was supposed to be here. He blew us off. Decided he couldn't do it, but So this year's been weird for you though so far. You got a kid who's almost a year old now, and that kind of slowed you down from what you were doing last year. But it went from trying to do the super thing to getting with a new crowd ish kind of. I mean, we've known Mickey for years.
Well, it's not really a new crowd. It's like what a lot of people They're like, "Where's Robbie? Where's Mike?"
They're still there.
Oh yeah, they're there. They got. I mean, you got Robbie. Robbie is probably the busiest person I've ever met in my entire life. He's coaching 2 teams, keeping up with a daughter doing dancing, keeping up with You know, he's got an amazing family. He keeps up with the wife. He goes to the beach. He works on the kitchen. He rebuilds the kitchen, rebuilds the shop while racing himself.
Yeah, still
So
racing
you can't really expect. There's no way I can expect him. And like I call Robbie one of my best friends in the world. And like I said, he's one of the greatest guys ever. And same thing with Mike.
Did
Mike.
he run yesterday?
No, he's got a Monte Carlo. We're gonna get ready and like I said, I couldn't. And then Mickey came on board, and we've been busy. And we're kind of since Dawson's been born. The super deal has kind of been hard to try to do because it's almost like if you're gonna super race and you're gonna super because I don't race to lose. I race to win. It's just like, but if you're gonna do it, you got to go all in. And we're actually just thinking about getting a new car, falling back to 2 cars.
Sure.
And running the steel block stuff and having a crate motor on the side and bouncing back and forth between steel block and then we got our street stock car. Yeah. We're wrapping up, and I actually got 3. I got my Bloomer car that got the super motor in, and we're trying to figure out which direction we want to go with that. Right. It's just really hard. And like I said, there's nothing that I would regret about that child. He's the best thing to say.
Gosh, no.
We had so much fun with him. It's the most. Like I'd quit today if I had to for racing for him, but when it comes to racing in general, we're just trying to figure out a direction that like we can do without killing myself to get to the racetrack.
Sure, yeah.
That's kind of why we quit with building the race cars.
Well, then the kind of person you're going to go to the racetrack, bring 4 different cars and want to race all 4 of them, and I mean, when you're doing super stuff, you can't do that.
No, not that. Yeah, that too, and then like. Even racing 4 cars, that's why we ended up selling. It was just, I'm the only guy in the shop. You know, me and Mickey helps me when he can. But it's just like, Mickey and Robbie help me when they can. But both of them have families, and they're both wide open with family stuff. All of them, both kids are all the same age, and there's no way you can expect them to be in the shop with me every day and every night. So, but the team up we've got is a very good deal. And whichever direction we go, we're going to excel in. I just got to figure out which way. Like right now, we got the 602 car running. Yeah. And we tested it the other day and then went to Fayetteville and had a really good night going. But I chose I didn't read the tire rule before I went and qualified on the pole with the wrong tire.
Seems like we've done that before.
Yeah.
Seems like we've done that a time or two.
Yeah, and it's just trying to juggle too many things whenever you just need to cut back and get down to something basic. Yeah. And but you know, being said, when we went to Fayetteville, we had crazy speed in practice, crazy speed in qualifying. So, and anytime I get behind the 8 ball, I just find it crazy to take that much money and start in the rear of a race whenever you should be a top 5 car. So
not only that, but it wasn't a consi race. It wasn't a B feature. It was just a non-qualifiers race. No,
I ran a B and a non-qualifier.
Oh, you did run a B. I didn't know they were in a B. Yeah,
I put the right tire on there, and it was harder, and we ran the B. And like I said, I didn't try to race. I just let everybody go. If I caught somebody, I passed them. And the car felt a little free like that. So I was like, this gives us time to practice on this tire that we haven't ran on before. Right. So then for the consi, we went out there and I tightened the car up a little bit for that harder compound. And it was flying. I was able to go around Fayetteville and it never even lifted. I went 8 laps on the floor and it just turned and it didn't bind the car up and felt really good. So hopefully, we can take that speed that we found in Fayetteville and take it to Lakeview this weekend. And
so Lakeview's got a 602 race. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a Mid-East race.
Oh, that's going to be interesting because they don't normally run those.
Yeah, they ran 2 last year.
Did they? Mm-hmm. Well, I know their local classes like it was fuel rules. Yeah, because you ran
their local is Steel Block Bandits.
Steel Block Bandits, that's the one. You ran fuel the other year. That was fun.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're really we're really trying to sell that Longhorn, and maybe even I put my super motor up for sale, and all in hopes to get both of them sold and buy a brand new car. And as soon as I get the brand new car, I'll sell the Bloomquist as well. Right. But as strong as the 602 car is running right now, I'm almost about to sell the Bloomquist and save it. I mean, it's been really fast. I mean, it steers good, reacts to changes, and especially considering we're running the single adjustable shocks. But all in all, it's been a really good. It's been good so far.
And that car is pretty much brand new.
Yeah, it's only probably it still probably doesn't have 20
It
races.
was a
in
backup car. It was the Rum Runner car.
It was their
backup car, right?
No, that was their crate car. I think
their crate car?
Overton took it and spanked some tail in it and this crate stuff. And he's nasty in the crate. I don't think I've seen him lose a crate race in 6 years. So, so you got and that's kind of what direction we're trying to figure out which way. And we love the street stock stuff. It's so much fun.
Well, that's always been your bread and butter. See, I mean, obviously, let's see, you came up mini stocks.
Yeah,
and then kind of went street stock and
I never really ran street stock. I went well, not on asphalt, not on dirt. I went mini stock, go karts, mini stock.
Yeah,
and then we went street stock racing on asphalt, and we did really good in that. It was a lot of fun. And then the shock game in asphalt took over, and it got to where it was way more of a car winning races than driver. And nothing against those drivers, but it's just you had if you didn't have the right shocks or setup guy from up there in Mooresville, you kind of got behind the 8 ball. And then they opened up the class. The street stock class became Charger with full tube chassis cars, so it turned into a super street class.
Okay.
So.
And that was what Dylan
in Lakeview. Well, I'm not. I mean, in Myrtle Beach. I'm not Myrtle Beach. It was Dylan Lakeview, and I'm Dylan, Myrtle Beach, Timminsville.
Timminsville, okay.
Yeah, and I also ran one at Somerville.
So you used to run Myrtle Beach quite a lot.
I ran Myrtle Beach two or three times.
Two or three times?
I ran once with street stock, did really good, and we ran 2 races there with a super truck.
Well, what other tracks? Obviously, Myrtle Beach is closed down. What other tracks have you run at that are no longer there?
Somerville Speedway. That place was amazing. Like
when did it close down? This was before my time.
No, what year were you born?
98.
Yeah, so you were like 6.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like it closed down like 05, 04. Okay. It was really cool. The track, the concrete, the asphalt was just slap wore out. So like, what was cool was like you'd set your car up somewhat tight, but if you coming out of 3, going into 3 and 4. When you went in kind of medium at 3,
right,
and there was a gutter for the drain off of the track, to get your car to turn off the corner without hitting the wall, you'd have to put your left front in the gutter. You would literally put it in the gutter. You missed the gutter, you'd lose a half a second. You'd have to, so it was really cool.
That's crazy. Yeah, I never saw that track. Obviously, even tracks like Greenville Pickens about to shut down now.
I never went there.
We went to about to shut down.
I drove an Allison Legacy car at Hickory one time. That was a cool little place. And then that's about all the asphalt I did. Asphalt, we ran it about 2 strong years, and then
that's when you were partnered up with Ronnie and them, wasn't it?
No, I just built the cars. I never raced them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I built cars with him and did all their welding and fabbing and stuff. While Ronnie did motor work and stuff like that. And it was it was a good adventure, but like it went to a direction where I thought it was my phone. It went into a direction where like I said, it was all shock based and then we had a chance to get a dirt late model, and I never ran one before. And we tried Super Street. We had a Super Street car, but it was like I didn't know much about the cars then. I had just went straight from. I was just a driver when I was young. I never did anything other than I would fix things and repair things. But we tried the Super Street, and we just. The springs were moving in it and all kind of stuff, and I think I had one good race out of a year with it. I just couldn't. It's nothing but bad luck. So then we went. While we were doing that, we were running a super truck.
Yeah.
We ended up selling both of them and getting a dirt late model. And it was just dirt late model from then on. And still running some super street. I still running some 4-cylinders and stuff.
Kind of opened your eyes to what you wanted to do.
Well, yeah, that, and we got a car that was really good, and we just unloaded the first night in the car, and I think I started like 13th and came up to second, and then we won like.
Was this the Kryptonite
car? It's a Warrior.
It's a Warrior. Yeah, it was way before the Kryptonite car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we unloaded, finished second the first night, and I think we won like 12 in a row after that. And like I said, it's just the late models just suit me when it comes to certain things, and like and the street stock stuff. I pretty much just transferred what I know from late models into the street stock. I never really messed with them until till Mickey told me to come and play with his car.
Sure. Well, I mean, you drove them for pretty much anybody.
I drive anything, anytime. If I got a spot open, if I don't have anything to do for the weekend, I'm driving somebody's car.
I've seen you drive Taylor's old car.
Yeah, that's
times. And
Taylor's car was my first in the dirt street stock late
Right.
model. I mean, dirt street stock racing. I forgot about that. We jumped in there, and I kind of like just took my Longhorn book and put it on the Taylor's car, and we went out there and won. And I was like, it felt really good. So the cars react. The Monte Carlos, the Camaros, they give me a little bit of a headache. I can drive them if you got me a good one, but as far as what to do, I can get them to par, but getting them to where they're in that low 17 range, and that's why I've been helping Robbie. And like we really want to get Robbie on a Monte Carlo so we can transfer notes. And like I told Robbie, it'd be so much better with him being a new driver that we go out there with the exact same car.
Sure.
And let's say if I'm running 17s and I know our cars are set up identical, he should be running 17s, and he can, blame himself instead of having to blame the car.
So you never really messed with you never really got into the weeds of the street stock stuff. But I mean, you built a couple of them whenever you're working with Ronnie. You fabricated a few of them and all that. So you already kind of came into it having a basic understanding of what these cars need and how to build them.
The way me and Ronnie worked is Ronnie was the motor setup guy, and I was the chassis repair guy and body guy. So, like I said, I knew where to put shock positions and what's the best way to position shock, stuff like that. But when I got into the setup stuff, is kind of the last 5 years, and like I never really got to play with the setup stuff so much in the late models until lately, because I really couldn't afford to go testing.
Sure, yeah.
And then we got Kegel to set us up, or we'd get Barry Wright to help us whatever car I had, Kryptonite, and they give me a good baseline. I'd work off that, but I never changed much because we were always pretty good.
Right.
So the last 3-4 years, I've really tried to concentrate on making my late model game better with adjustments. And then, like I said, with Mickey coming on board, well, let's rewind. Let's go back to I never could really get help.
Yeah.
With as far as money wise, we had some guys, big sponsors that fell off real quick.
Yeah.
Big sponsors fell off real quick. But when Robbie and Mike came over, they took me to another level, and then like I said, they were able to let me go test. I had money. I didn't have to worry about tires for the weekend if I tested on Thursday night. And then when Mickey came in, it made it even better. And and so that being said, it's just now I'm in a position now where I can go rent the racetrack and really
sure.
And that's what we did with that 602 car, because I drove it at Screven, and it was probably to me one of the worst late models I've been in.
I mean, it was fast.
It was decent. Like I said, it just hitting the racetrack and just didn't feel like I wanted it to feel. So we took it back, and I asked Mickey if we can go rent the track. We rented the track one night and tested, and we gained like almost a full second and just by testing. And ever since then, the car has been a rocket ship. So
right, yeah, it's fast, man. It was quick. At Fayetteville, you got to bring it back.
We ran. I did run it at Sumter, remember?
You finished second to
I finished third to Justin and
Marlowe.
Marlowe, yeah.
I was open at night.
Yeah, and we ran the fastest time of the night, but what the problem was is just the little 602 car track was wet in qualifying.
Right. So,
but we ended up being pretty quick come race time, and anytime you're running with Mintz is just both of them are just as fast as hell anywhere they go.
Broke your track record.
Yeah, they
How about that?
Yeah, I got to get up. I got to get up on a track record game. I can't never get up on a track record game because every time I go, it's wet or sloppy or crap. Like it's like I'm a half a second off track record, but I get the pole or whatever.
He was quick.
He broke Dalton's track record.
He broke. I think Shirey had it.
Oh,
Dalton had it. Shirey took it in the Blue Ridge race, and he took that.
One that got me was Banal, because I didn't think you could get my 6. He got my.
Yeah, Banal, he held it until Zach Mitchell.
Yeah, I had like a 613, and Banal did a 600, and Mitchell did
Steve might still have it for the steel block stuff.
I know Dustin broke it. I think he didn't.
No, Dustin was close, but Steve still had it. I think it's a 600. Justin's a 602.
No, 600 was in a super race, wasn't it?
It was a 557.
Oh, was it?
In the super race. That was Zach Mitchell last year.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
But at the same time, like I said, I go with I look at in one way track records are cool, but how much they get paid.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if I could start,
I think they should. Well, I think they should. I think it'd be cool, man. That's what I said. Whenever they first started going with the track records again, I think they need to keep it up with every class. And I'm not like the new Blue Ridge track record.
Sure,
is kind of questionable. I think Shirey should still have it.
Well, and here's the thing: it's not technically I phrased it. Now I did this. I phrased it as local / Blue Ridge because I mean we run the same rules package. It's just tires are different.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Obviously,
But like I said, I don't want anybody to listen to this and think I'm knocking Justin, but because I'm taking up for Shiree, it'd be different if I had the pole, but or had the track record. But
it would.
But like I said, those Hoosiers are just blindingly faster than American racers 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Well,
but you got some guys prefer to be on American racers though. Some guys feel they're faster.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I can promise those guys don't win on them as much as the guys at the Hoosiers. You know, and I'm not like I said, I'm not knocking the American racer. They're really good tires. It's just Hoosiers. Hoosiers good in if you go to 10 racetracks, Hoosiers the best out of 9 of them, and then you might have one where you ran an American racer. Because American racer, you get a 48 on the right rear and get it to fire, it's good. I ran that. Yeah. I ran that in steel block race and passed on the outside. You know what I mean? So, but it's hard to all the way through the night. The consistency of the Hoosiers is just so strong. They rip apart a little more, but they're just so strong early, and you can't, like I said, I don't want anybody to think I'm knocking ARs because they're good cars. They're the best in street stock and super street.
Yes, they are.
Talking about a half a second. But no, I think that it was a great thing that they started to track records because it gives people a good feeling when you got it, man. It's a great feeling, and like I said, you got, who's got it in street stock? Austin's got it in street stock.
Austin's got it in street stock. Well, the weird thing is,
what's his name's got it? Cameron's got it in super street.
No,
I thought he got it the other week.
Sheely.
What is that?
No. He was like 1/100.
Was it 17-0 is a whatever?
I got it written down somewhere. I'll show you later.
The week before last was the week to break all of them. I'm surprised they didn't. The week that Justin got down into twos.
Is everybody's telling me that they don't count because all the old stuff isn't there. We don't have.
When somebody says that, let me. I'm sorry.
I can't find it though. I've been looking for
that. It's irrelevant. You can't go off of 1945. I don't care. You can't. Nobody could talk about something that happened in the 90s.
Well, then the older
first thing they used a. I know I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
They used a finger. It wasn't even line lock. They used a finger thing, and then on top of that, you know what I mean. They had billboard cars.
Exactly.
All of the cars were unlimited. You had wedge style cars, but. They practically are running a late model sprint car. Yeah. And, so you can't, if they want to go for it, but you got what they call the new Sumter Speedway.
Right.
And whenever you redo everything, all the old stuff's gone. I hate to be like
change,
it. Yeah. If they can find it, you can put track record till 2000.
What I want to, if I can find it, I have been informed that we can get our hands on it recently. Recently. Just the other day, I was told who possibly has them. Yeah. What I want to do is I want to make an archive of all that stuff. Just so people can see it.
Yeah, you can put 90s track record.
Billboard cars, wedge late models, blah, blah, blah. But people come at me all the time, man, talking about none of these are legit. The real record's like 12.5, whoever. But it was a billboard car.
It was probably a billboard car probably in the 80s when the track was short. But I mean, if the track wasn't short, it still doesn't matter. Whenever you put, it's just like the and it was done with a super late model. So if I put that rental, see what I need to do or get up with Justin or whoever, is put that dang Blue Ridge spoiler on my car and go out there and with a supercar. It's the same thing.
They took that out of the rules this year. You see that?
They never had it. Their supers aren't even in the rules.
They used to could run a super motor up until this year. They took it out.
That's why we haven't brought the super to something because we were talking about doing that to kind of do some testing, but. Yeah, the track record deal. They just need to get. You can't worry about the 90s. I mean, you got to get past that and worry about what's now. I mean,
the cars are completely different. That's the biggest thing.
You got apples and oranges. You can't. Just. I mean, you got a whole different tire they were running. Like I said, back then it was completely unlimited.
Right.
So, but like I said, I think what they ought to do though, what would be cool. Is even maybe restart it every year. So like at the end of this year, because over the winter, this is what people aren't looking at. Over the winter, every track puts new dirt on the track.
Sure.
So you have your yearly track record. At the end of that year, I think each person should get a little something. So so let's say if Justin's got it now, Blue Ridge / whatever. Sure. Justin's got it now. He should get a plaque, $100. $100,
okay,
or plaque or $50.
Return the fastest time of the year.
Or plaque, fastest time in Blue Ridge, fastest time in True Blue Ridge, fastest time, send them because they're not gonna be there. Send them a plaque. Yeah, and it's something nobody's doing, and that's kind of what the game is with racetracks, where you got to do something this different. It's like kind of like when Sumter put new lights in. I came up with the idea of using the new lights as a light show. Before the race, it was like Carolina.
Well, we can do it now.
Yeah, so
now they don't have like the control box for me to use any yet, but once they get one, I'm gonna have some fun. I promise.
Just that's what I'm saying. So you gotta keep it fresh for the newer audience, and like I said, if they go track record, just like I think they always said Darren Griffin had it. I think
it was Darren. There was a Wild Bill is the name I've always heard. Like they know his nickname. I don't know
Wild
who it
Bill
is.
I knew ran 4 cylinders, but I mean he was but they just need to take it and reset it every year. That way you first thing, if they reset it every year, you can cut. You don't have to worry about the guy was like 10 years from now. You know
sure,
what I mean?
yeah.
So you're putting new clay on the track. Now new clay, like let's say if we put Sonoa's clay on there and kept it dry, the times are going to back up a second.
Yeah,
we'd be dying to run 18-second laps because it's just so slippery. Or put Sonoa's clay on there and keep it wet, and you'll get down in the 11s because you're flat foot in the super.
True.
So you can't go by that because every year is different clay. Like this year, they've been keeping it wetter. Yeah. Other than the night Justin was there, the track got black that weekend, but they've been keeping it wet, and it's been getting a little sandy. It's actually been probably the best racetrack Sumter's ever had since I've been there.
Yeah, when it's worked right, it is. Now, like last night, of course, we're recording this on Sunday right after a race. Last night it wasn't the best. Yeah, well, it was, but it happens. I mean,
you're not going to have a week in, week out best racetrack, especially whenever you've had a full week of pure sunlight, straight dry weather.
Right.
I mean, you have to start, and that's another thing. Every racetrack needs a guy that's. If you're going to do it right, whenever you
committed, yeah.
Well, no, if you it's not committed, that guy that's doing it is really good. Poochie's.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying
like he works another job. You know what I mean? Sure. So like the best way to do it, is from Wednesday to Friday. He needs to be wetting the track,
right?
For that track to be the same every weekend. Yeah. From Wednesday to Friday, it needs to be wet, cut, till. But he doesn't have time to do it. He's doing it whenever he gets off work.
Exactly, yeah.
And you just can't do that. That track needs constant water for 2 or 3 days to really get sunk in. But anyways, it's been I don't know. I enjoy the track record thing. I enjoy hearing about it, and like I said, you get especially your late model guys. Like Zach Mitchell. He doesn't care. All he it's just like Bloomer's. I've heard Bloomer saying it. They talked about track records, and he's been like, "Well, how much did it pay?"
Exactly,
I won tonight. Why are we talking about that?
Yeah.
So, but like I said, in lower divisions, you know what I mean, and winning races, that means something. It's just like winning the most that year.
Right.
So like, whether it be street stock, super street, but when they win the most at the end of the year, you're practically the champion.
Well, I mean, like Bloomer, I'm sure, like the way you put it, obviously he cares about money more than all of it, all of the other stuff. But I mean, for like guys like you and like the local guys, if they're able to hold that record for 5-10 years, that's always going to be that chip on their shoulder, that thing. So that's kind of why it's important to me.
So go year after year after year,
right?
Instead of resetting it.
Well, but it's a good idea. I like the idea.
What you could do is just write those numbers down, like you said, with the chart.
Yeah,
and then have the chart where it's like 1997, fastest laps, 2005.
That's kind of,
and then at the top you could have of all.
That's kind of where I'm heading. Yeah. That is kind of what I was just thinking about, because like you can have your overall track records, but like you said, kind of count down who did the fastest lap those years, and give them a little bonus, give them a little plaque or whatever. Say I ran the fastest lap in 2023.
Get like a door, get like their door. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like a little small
we did those for trophies for a while.
Have like I know who can track record of 2007.
That'd be actually pretty dope.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. Yeah. But okay, so obviously everybody listening to this probably knows, but you're kind of thinking about this from a promoter standpoint as well, because you grew up around the racetrack. Your mom and daddy promoted forever. Your sister's doing it now. Is that kind of a business you're looking to get into here anytime soon? Maybe.
No, because it's just like when we tried to get into the building cars. We build like the car we built is extremely nice, and like everybody will vouch for that. And like and we did really good work. We got our stuff done on time. Somebody brought a car, it was out. I think we had one unhappy customer, and that was my fault. And I told him that my fault. It was whenever we decided to close the doors, but it was a 4-week project. And so anyways, that being said, if I was to get into it, if I was to get into the promoter side, I'd have to quit.
Right.
And I can't do that. It's just like trying to, you know.
You mean quit racing?
Quit racing.
Yeah. Okay.
Quit driving. Racing, I'd have to be the promoter only.
Right.
And you can't race and be a promoter because you go out there and win a race and everybody's like, oh, he's cheating and, you know, that kind of stuff there. So, I'd like to just stay behind the curtains and give them ideas. Because I travel and I think I'm able to give them ideas of ways to do things that maybe make the show better, like hot lap qualifying and, you know, hot lap qualifying for heat races on big nights and stuff like that. So, and even down to the, you know, I told them that whenever they started the 2-lap caution thing,
sure,
you get 2 laps, you go green. You know, it is what it is. And if somebody cries about it, then, you know, tell them to go home.
Their fault. Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah. So, just, you know, anytime I see something that a track does that's just very inventive or very, it just flows better, I try to make sure I come back and let them know.
But then again, at the same point, what was it like growing up racing as the promoter's kid? I mean, obviously everybody seems, from, you know, conversations, everybody's harder on you than just about anybody else. I mean, from your perspective, what was that like growing up?
Well, the good thing is, like, first thing, since 2000 and I drove my own car. I drove you know, the cars my dad owned from like the beginning until about 2000 and you know, from 2001 to 2004, and then I started driving for Mr. James Andrews in the 4-cylinders. And from then on, I kind of drove people's cars for the most part. So, I didn't really get everybody, I'm the track owner's son, or track, you know what I mean? So I did get that.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks I cheat and this and that and this and that. But, you know what I mean? There's one thing that they won't say. They won't call me slow.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You'll never hear that. So, you know what I mean? So, you know, they can say what they want. I could be cheating. I could have a blower on there, turbo, cheated up tires. But one word you never hear is that boy's slow at something speedway. You know
I haven't heard it. You know? I haven't. But did you ever put any like extra pressure on yourself? Because obviously you go out there and always want to win. But like, was there ever any time that you really, you know?
Man, I tell everybody, like, I get more nervous at Sumter Speedway lining up beside anybody,
right, than
I do lining up beside Brandon Overton at the World 100 at $100 million to win.
Sure.
And it's because
God, imagine what a race that would be.
What if I don't win that? If I don't win that $100 million, you know, it's not expected. You know what I mean? Well, whatever. Either way, like when at Sumter, man, it's like if I win, I'm cheating or some kind of crap. But either way, if I could win 19 in a row and then lose one, I told you he was slow.
You kind of know that everybody in the stands, everybody's expecting you to win.
Yeah, well, I feel like I don't think everybody's expecting me to win, but I feel that I'm expected to win.
Right.
And then like if I don't, I got to hear a lot of crap, and that's kind of like, you know, with the 602 car, I'd like to go run it more at Sumter, but then we don't win. It's, you know, the fans don't know that we're 300 horsepower down.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because our announcer don't tell people that.
Yes, I do. No, I mean, but it's usually in that case, it's not me, but still, yeah.
But no, but at times I get but no, I do get really nervous. Like at a Sumter race, a super race at Sumter, like I'm sweating bullets, you know what I mean?
And then, you know, the first one went perfectly. The first super race that we had, it went perfectly for you. But then it seemed odd to me that, you know, you get a super motor for that next race and it doesn't.
Well, we still had speed that night. Where I messed up with the super was I got it all together and we threw it in and went running.
Yep.
Like we literally threw that motor in the car, ran 5 laps to make sure it wasn't skipping on a Sunday.
Yeah.
We didn't do any testing on the chassis, and we went straight to something and ran. And like I said, we qualified third, which to me, you know, against that crowd of drivers, that top 10 was any of the top 10 drivers could have won, and you know. Yeah. And
was that the night that who won that race?
Zach won. That's when he broke.
No. That wasn't Zach. That was
Anthony Sanders. Yeah, he was riding.
That's when Anthony got his first win. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And like I said, you know, but you know, Anthony being quick that night, Michael Brown's, you know, nasty as he can be. You know, I think we were there. Ross Bales was there.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you know, he won the year before, and so like I said, I was very happy with our qualifying, but then
Sure.
Jeff Smith and another guy got together, and we ended up the short end of the stick on it. But Jeff Smith and Dalton Wilson. But
Yeah.
But no, like our super, I'm actually proud of our super performances. I'm not knocking what we did because everywhere we've been, we've had speed. We just haven't put a whole night together. It's been we go there, we qualify fantastic, but then we miss it in the race.
Well,
or then we go there and we qualify like crap, and then we move up in the race.
Well, the big one there that you're talking about, Sonoa, 2 years ago now? I mean, you go up there, wrong tires.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Yeah.
still, with, you're racing against Shane Clanton, and there were some big guys there. Ricky Weiss was there, Overton was there, and I think you were sixth fastest overall.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're on the wrong tires. They threw us out. But still.
Yeah, well, and then later on, we came from...
And then the class race at Fayetteville, where you qualified, second outside pole, and all the heck broke loose there as well. I mean, it was
actually,
it kind of at that point felt like it was always something,
That wasn't a bad night. We qualified second, but then I just didn't make the right adjustment in the race. And then like Sonoa, when we put the wrong tire on,
right.
We still came from
After
39th
after
to
that we're
13th.
flying.
I wouldn't call us flying, but we made up from a bad night, and then we went back to Sonoa with the ultimates and qualified 10th and finished 4th. And we ran to hunt the front guys down, and like I said, Zach Mitchell was blindingly fast, but everybody else right there was together. And then we went back for a big Southern All-Star race, and shoot, I think we qualified 5th in our group, but we out qualified a winger, and that's his home. He's about as good as it gets there. And then we missed it in the race that night, but that was a tire deal. I chose the wrong tire. But like I said, I don't feel like considering the because we didn't run any local races. We went straight to racing with the big guys, and we even World of Outlaws. We qualified in the top 6 both nights. But then messed up in the heat race. I just didn't qualify good enough.
You did make one of those features, though.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, was that kind of one of the goals there?
God, yeah. If you go to World of Outlaws
show.
race, and 41 cars there both nights. You know what I mean? And we should have made it the first night. I was checked out in there, and then they had a caution with one to go, and I got the guy threw a pretty slider on me, and that's it is what it is. But like I said, both nights we ran with Richards, we ran with Spencer Hughes. We ran with Tyler Brunin, Hudson O'Neill. He's as bad as it is right now.
These are guys you never fathom racing against.
But we're running with.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't out qualified them. So at a track that I wouldn't call myself, it's like I'm typically not the best. We go there and run good. It's just not where I go and I just get in the car and I'm like, okay, I own this race, But I've gotten better lately. Like we went to street stock the other day, I felt really good.
Right.
So yeah, we've I'm happy with our super performances. I just realize in supers we need to race almost every weekend, get better. You
got to practice and get exactly.
Yeah, and it was just like anything. And that's just what we, if we get back into the supers, that's what we need to do is just go racing. Well, I don't even think I need to go racing the supers. I need to get into steel blocks. And then keep a supermoto for when we feel like racing here.
Kind of the Willie Milliken way of doing it, because he does the steel block stuff pretty continuously, and heck, now he's winning races in a super. He won Fayetteville, ran good at Lancaster last weekend. But no, back to you, because obviously, you ran Cherokee. We went to Screven for the freeze. That was a cold night. That's the night I made the worst decision of my life. I went and turned, 3 at the time?
Oh, yeah.
Without glasses on?
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah. God.
That was fun, yeah.
Screven's kind of been the place that I just can't. Like, we run good there in the street stock. I think I ran street stock there 3 times. And
you won there earlier. You won that? Yeah.
I ran 3 street stock races there and won 2 of them and finished second or third, and the other one second. I think.
Fun racetrack.
It's awesome, and like in the super, like me in turn 1 just had. Well, now it's turn 3 and 4. Just have this agreement that it just likes to take my wing.
Slap the wall.
It just likes to take my spoiler with it. So I just.
Well, that happened to what, the Tonsi or the B?
That's happened twice.
No, was it a B main or a heat race where you and you slapped a wall?
Me and
Bryson Harper.
I ended up putting a slider on him on the last lap.
Yes, sir.
But I slapped the wall. I keep see. It's just like Sumter's turn 1. It gets up there and it flattens out. And it's sandy, but early you're able to get up there, and I keep forgetting that it's not early, and and it's just like with our decision to go to Bloomquist, we went to Screven the last time we were running with the Southern All Stars, and
Right.
that weekend we did really good at Sonoma, had that good qualifying session,
Yeah.
and then it rained out twice and went to Screven.
This was at Southern National
Yeah,
Series.
yeah, Southern All Star National, whatever.
Yeah.
So we were going to travel all 5 days with them, and we, like I said, it was summer nationals or whatever.
Yeah.
So we went to Screven, qualified terrible, but I felt good. I just qualified terrible, and then Chris Ferguson, come over there, and then he just talked really good to me. Chris is an awesome, like most of all those super guys are awesome, and like he's an awesome guy. And he come over there, and I told him what was going on. He told me what to change.
Uh-huh.
And man, we went out in the main and we're riding. We were
Right.
going too fast because I can't. I think we started like 15th, 17th, 18th, and I think we passed on the outside. I think we were up like the 8th or 9th, and
Sure.
we were just riding. And I was sitting on the outside, and the car was just, it was phenomenal. Best it's probably ever felt. And like I said, treacherous turn one. Here we go.
Yup.
We go in a little bit higher. Whee! You know, there
Yup.
goes the spoiler again. Knocked the whole deck off. So.
And then the next 2 nights rained out, so that's
Yeah, well then we stay up all night fixing the car, and it rains out 2 nights in a row.
East Alabama.
To drive to East Alabama and take our money, and then it rains.
That's crazy, dude.
But
That would have been a fun stretch. No, but personally, I do think that if we're able to, we need to go all in back on the super stuff, and you know, I'd like to travel with you.
yeah, we're talking about going all super, all steel block, and doing a lot. You know, I still got our shock program going with Wesley Page, and that's another one that's been amazing.
Wesley's great.
He's been amazing. You know, he's got our 602 stuff running. He's getting better every day, and he's studying, and he listens to me on what I want on my shocks on the. I listen to him on the late models because he's just to go at it and pretty
Dude, his car won again last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
He's on fire right now, dude.
And then locally or in the pretty much he's on fire. He's got a bunch of 602 cars flying. So his 604 and 602 program is unbelievable. And his crate, his super stuff, he just got into it like really the last 2 years, and it's just building. Yeah.
Well, he's got Ben. He's got Carson.
I think Benji Hicks and
Really?
And what you call it, Ross Bell's on.
Ross Bell's?
I think. I don't get. They were Ross Bell's bounced back and forth.
Right.
But he's got Carson, Ben. He has me. There's a bunch of others.
Right.
I can't name them all. All the Kenny Collins and stuff.
Yeah.
So they,
Another guy you've wrecked with before.
Yeah.
That was
That's what I said. Like I said, we had a bad luck spree with the Super, and then like I said, my little man was born, and that cut the time off of when I could work on the car, and the Super didn't have a good run. I was happy with our racing performance, but wasn't happy with our effort getting to the track. We were having to thrash because, newborn baby, my wife had back surgery.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like controlled chaos when we went to the track. So next time I go super racing, it won't be a controlled chaos. I'll have it all together.
Have everything together.
Yeah. And that's what I was getting at with Chris Ferguson. He talked to me about getting on a bloomer, even though he's on a Longhorn now. His dad, I talked with his dad a lot. His dad's hooked me up. We got a set of shocks from them. We're gonna try that bloomer and really want to get with him. And Brian is a phenomenal guy, super nice, and we've dealt with some. I'm very lucky and very blessed to be with the crew and in the situation I am, and where I've been able to do with racing. So, and that's kind of what I'm just running my mouth, but like what I always try to tell everybody, anybody on that racetrack, from top dog super racing to the lowest car in its class.
Sure.
The guy that just running dead last in the, what's the class called now?
The lowest class?
Econo 4.
Sure. Yeah, we'll throw them out there.
All of us, from him all the way to that guy.
Right.
Every class. You are living and you're sitting in a situation that somebody wishes and dreams of being.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's like what I want to make sure that I really want to make sure I said it on here, but I just, that's what makes me feel blessed. Is like when I sit in the stands, when I'm lined up, like with a steel block race, when they line you up at the wall, when I'm looking up, every time I'll just start like, not really tear up, but think about, I see a little kid waving at me, and I'm just like, when I was 13 or 10 or 12, I came here watching Ed giving us smoke to have a Tampa, and I was sitting there like, God, I'm going to drive one of these one day, or I'm going to do what I can to be in one, and now I'm in it. And it's even now, I was sitting on the back of the truck with Austin Mintz the other day.
Right.
And he was just like, God, it does not feel like we're going that fast. Like Justin's whipping 14.2s and he's going down the backstretch and he's just like, we're like, how is like it does not feel like we're going that fast on the track. We're like, it's like there's no way we're going that fast. And
it's wild, but you talk about that like, and obviously for you growing up, it was, oh boy. Well, when did y'all actually start going to the racetrack? Because you did a Talking Dirt interview years ago. Mm-hmm. That was 3-4 years ago now. Y'all were in the rodeo business for a little while.
Yeah. We were all about horse. Daddy quit go-kart racing when he had me and got into the horses.
Show horses or
quarter horses and cutting horses and stuff like that. And I never was good at it. I had one horse that I rode and I was terrified of horses. They scared me. I can't control them. They take off. Bee bites them on the butt. They're gone.
Okay.
But yeah, I was all into horses till I was about 8. Okay. And Ed Gibbons and Give Gibbons took me to a track and let me get on the go-kart. And I wrecked and got put in the hospital.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. But you were hooked.
I begged my daddy and begged my daddy until he finally got me old cart and we went racing. And
so this was what, early to mid 90s?
94.
94? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think that's the year I was 93 or 94. I was 7, 8 years old when I really got it.
Were your mom and daddy running the track then or was
it
still? No, okay.
They weren't running the track. They weren't running the track when I first started. My uncle was. Mm-hmm. I don't think they ran the track till like 05 or something. Mm-hmm. I think I was actually racing asphalt. I didn't start driving my own car until like 5 years after they were running the track.
Oh,
I was driving James's 4-cylinder car and.
I've got memories of watching you when I was like 4, 3 or 4. That must have been like 2001 or 2002, 2003.
That was a little Nissan.
Yeah, a little Nissan. I remember my first memory that I have at the racetrack. My granddaddy took me out there, and we would sit. Everybody knows this. The tower at Sumter, the little bottom tower.
Yeah.
We would go up there and sit, and your mama was up there watching you. There was the mini stock race, and you won that night. And I remember you cut a couple donuts, and 4-year-old Ryan was like, "Man, that's the coolest guy ever." Yeah. And then you came up there and talked to me. You don't remember this now, but I do. Yeah. You come up there and talked to me, and from that day on, you were my favorite driver, which is crazy because now you got people saying that you're still my favorite, which you are. I mean, it's sentimental. It goes back years and years and years.
That's what I'll say.
But that's the reason for it. People talk junk about me now because they think that I play favorites or whatever. But the thing
you gotta say,
have been forever.
People like that, man, you just gotta say screw them. If they say something that is out of the way, hey, you know what you want, you know what you like. They ain't used to be ashamed of that. It's just like them. Those same people couldn't get up there and do what you do. You know what I mean? I envy that. I couldn't get up there and talk. I get up there and stutter, and people are like, "What the hell did he say?" You know?
But the thing is, again, though, I mean, it's weird how you meet your heroes in life, and like you've probably met a lot of guys that you grew up idolizing. Of course, I mean, heck, you started with one of the best. Little Ed was everybody's favorite. He was one of the best to ever, strap into a race car in these parts. And
Ed and I, when I was the two biggest ones when I was little and watching at Sumter Speedway. Well, I'd say we got I'll say 3 people that I idolized when I was younger.
Sure.
I liked Little Ed. And like I said, the only reason if I didn't pull for Little Ed, I pulled for Gerald Mintz. And the reason is I feel like Gerald was the underdog a little bit compared, but Gerald won.
Lee.
But Lee was before my time. He was like the early 90s.
Right.
But Gerald always had a beautiful number 20. I was a big 28 fan.
Right.
Had the stars on the car. And I even told Gerald that when they sat at my shop. Me and Austin fixed the front of his car. And, man, I'm telling you, Gerald Mintz was the man. I'm telling you. And like I said, don't take that from Lil Ed. Lil Ed was my hero too. But
and you actually ran a 28 for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, ran them.
Is that why?
That's my secondary number.
Okay.
James Andrews ran 28, and that was Harry Pritchard and H.C. Pritchard. Yep. H.C. ran 28, and Little Harry ran 82.
Yeah.
They flopped them, and so that's where we started with 28, which worked out. I was like, Gerald Mintz, Davey Allison. I was a huge 28 fan, and I ran 11 with the family. So if you see me, I run a 7-11 now. But if you see me personal cars, it's going to be 28 or 11.
Right.
That's just what it's going to be. And like I said, I kind of adopted the 7. And I'm actually starting to like it. It looks really good on our new wrap on the 652 car. Yeah, it looks good.
I love that 7. Now the coolest one though, was the last one that he did where he merged the 11 into the 7.
Yeah.
Your actual font of
That's
the
where
11.
it's at now. It's still got the 7 small 11 on. Do you want the
Well,
newest one?
no, I was talking about the one that was on
The red car.
the Lewis chassis.
Oh yeah, you talking Little Prince?
Yeah, where it had the little 11s inside of it, dude. I love that. That was
man,
that was amazing.
And that's like I said, I got to shout out to Kenny Collins. That man, that guy's, it's hard to get. It's hard, as everybody knows, it's hard to get a rap guy that.
Sure is.
That you call on Monday morning, you get a rap by the weekend.
Exactly. Yeah.
But like I said, but it's not just I mean, he's just like I said, Kenny's been good to me.
He has.
I can hit him up on Snapchat, call him, and get it within a week or two.
Right.
But he's good at designing. He's probably one of your top guys around here.
Yeah, he's one of the top guys in the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Tanner's really good. Hopefully
Tanner's a designing.
He's a magician.
He's unbelievable. With that
Yeah.
stuff. You can't knock him. And
Tanner's good. There's a couple of people around here that do them, but obviously what's his name?
Tanner,
Lee Jordan. Yeah, he does it too. He's really good.
Speaking of Tanner, I knew that sucker was unbelievably good. But whenever he come to the shop that day and cut those flames out on the front of that car, like I draw flames, and I consider myself good at drawing flames. And he drew them things out, and it was almost symmetrical from side to side. And I was just like, man, bro. If we can just get him to show him do it.
Huh? You talking about the sports?
Yeah. You cut him out with a razor blade.
The one that I run on iRacing now. It's not the same, but it's close.
Your flames can't touch it. And that was done with a computer.
I think my flames are all right for what I do. But those are crazy
with a
good.
pencil, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Tanner's a magician. He knows what he's doing. But a lot of guys getting into that business now. But where was I going with this? Let's run through real quick before we run out of time here.
Yeah.
Let's run through a little bit like the middle part of your career because obviously you were heavy into it. 2013 on? I've seen a lot of stuff from.
We were heavy. I was heavy. I was actually heavier from like 2003
to
around 2008, 10.
In a late model, or are you talking about mini stock stuff?
Anything they could put me in. I ran. Okay. I didn't care. Anybody that called me. And that's what I always try to tell every driver. Don't ever, as long as you got a safe seat belt, safe roll cage, get in the car.
Right.
Because I don't care if it's a bomber car or whatever. I ran every Friday and Saturday night.
Right.
On asphalt and dirt, asphalt Friday, dirt Saturday, for probably 6 years. And that's what I believe that time is what developed me into being what I am now.
Right.
And by the time I got in late models kind of just came easy to me. They weren't really, it's just a speed, everything. Since I raced so much in 05 and that area,
right.
Everything after that is just a speed adjustment.
Right.
And a grip adjustment.
Well, I've always been told late models are easier to drive than anything else. Until you get to like the super ranks and whatnot.
And in some ways, I feel like the super's easier because the crate game is just, the cars are so fast.
Right.
And the cars are built with so much more grip than those motors can handle.
Right.
So it's all about hitting the perfect lap in qualifying. You know, what I mean? It's just like we went to Screven, I qualified a 17 or 16.4 7.9.
Sure.
And I qualified 12th. And then 5th place, I think, was Justin Mintz. And he qualified like a 17. I was 17.499. He was a 17.41.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
they're all so even. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's because everybody's running basically the same stuff.
Basically the same stuff, and you know what I mean. So I'd say the super racing is harder in one aspect with adjustability of the car, knowing what to do with the car. Your drivers in super game are more engineers and knowing what to do when they get out that race car.
Or they can hire an engineer.
Well, we're loose, we're free, tighten up. The crate racing is more on edge, super tight racing.
Right.
And street stocks are starting to get like that because they're going to do all 602s. But that's what I like about the street stocks, the super, the limiteds. And you watch the times, you have your front guys that are close, and there's like from first to last would be a second and a half.
Sure.
Crate racing from first to last would be a half second.
Right, right. Yeah, everybody's right there.
So I'd say super crate racing is, well, I wouldn't say it's harder to win, but it's tough.
Right.
Really tough. And super racing, I can't really say they're easier to drive. If you're tight, you can just hit the gas.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you're loose, you're screwed. But I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, like I said, I wouldn't say that it's easier. But I would say that it's the easier cars to drive considering it. Street stock is probably the hardest car.
Really?
Yeah, you got
I've always
3,000.
heard like mini stock was, something like that.
I'd say street stock. Well, I'd say Thunder Bomber. You got to
Right.
run. You're racing with you can't race with the speed rack. Well, I don't know if they can now, but you couldn't run with a speed rack. You go in the corner, you throw it to the left, let go of the steering wheel, throw the steering wheel back to the right.
Right.
Back to what 80s and 70s racing.
Yeah.
Really wheeling the car. Like now, our racks are so fast, we're not even crossing our hands up. We're not even moving the steering wheel hardly. So
You barely turn it in
but
and
you're
the camera turn a
definitely
little bit.
street stock Thunder Bomber, hardest cars to drive. They are. You got more weight,
Sure.
smaller tire. Cars like to pass. The back end likes to pass the car if you get it too loose.
Yeah.
I feel like I've about spun out the street stock 6 times as many times. Like a late model is almost. I mean, it's really hard to spin out, and but the street stock's really, I'd say they're the hardest.
So just a couple more things. Going back to, you alluded to it for a while, it was like y'all couldn't find any help. And I've heard all kinds of stories of you, your wife, and Taylor, it's old Tater, going out of town and racing these huge races. Like, man, like Charlotte a few times. And the big one that Taylor always laughs about, do you remember that night? I want to say it was like the USA 100 or whatever, Virginia Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
Y'all went up there and you cut down a tire. I don't remember how it happened.
Yeah.
You cut down a tire. They come into the pits. You come into the pits, and who was it? Somebody told Taylor and your wife to get the hell out of the way.
Leighton Sullivan's people. Like for a while there, like I said, I've had a little bit of financial backing. I've never really been able to have physical work help. I've had Taylor's been my right hand man forever. He's good, probably my best friend ever, and he's so good to us. And like I said, and Stacy's went with us, and we go racing, just us, and we won a pile of crate races like that. And in one way, smaller crowd is a little easier, and another way it's harder. But yeah, we went to that race, and it was the night they were blowing tires, but we had a flat tire on a piece of metal or something on the track.
Oh, wow.
I was so upset because we were in a chance. If we would have stayed on the track, we could have won. And had a flat tire and had to pull in. And we still worked our way up to 5th.
Right.
It just sometimes things don't go your way, but we came in with a flat and they were struggling with a tire, and I think Leighton Sullivan's granddaddy and dad told me
get out the way, y'all are slow. Well, you got other stories, because there was that time. Let's see, maddest I've ever heard of you being was at Charlotte, where what was that? You had a tire come off the car. That was fun. That was funny.
That was fun. We qualified. I think
you laugh about it now, but
no, I don't laugh about it. I'm like I do, but I'm embarrassed because like I said, at the end of the day, just like what I said earlier, I like to try to go out there and set an example and for kids and be like, I cuss more than I should, and bad words come out of my mouth.
Hadn't said one cuss word on the podcast. You're good.
Sometimes I'm brutally honest with people about the way they drive, and but I don't ever get out the car and fight and cuss, and that was my last hoorah of really being a butthole. I got out the car and I think we really don't know who loses. We give Taylor the most devil about it, but I give him the devil.
Taylor's been blamed for this for 5 years.
Well, I just pick at Taylor about it because all I heard all night long was we got to get a Rico Suave. Little Rico shirt. We got to get a little Rico shirt.
This was Rico Abreu.
Yeah, it was his first trip to Charlotte, and everybody was going to get it to see him. So here we go. My whole crew's down there with Rico, but I get a tire fly off the rim. I mean, I got my tire flies off on that too. After we made it in the race at like 5 o'clock, and we're racing at 10. So we're talking about 5 hours. So, but when it happened, I got out of the car and was huffing and puffing and acting stupid. And like and always, the Lord come down and like he taught me a lesson. I don't know if everybody knows I'm real funny about my sheet metal work and about my cars and being clean and staying clean. And I grabbed a jack. I walked all the way down from Charlotte. That's to the pits from Charlotte as they walk. I grab a jack stand. I'm still huffing and puffing. I go to throw the jack stand by the car and it lands on the deck and puts a hole in my brand new deck. So. I feel like that was the Lord telling me, "Hey,
you better calm down.
You're acting stupid." And when I look back on it, it was I pitched a fit like a little baby, and I shouldn't have. So, admitting it and doing things is better. But like I said, I try to when I get out of a car and somebody hits me or wrecks me or whatever, I try to set an example. I'm not one that you'll never see me get out the car trying to fight the guy because I'm not.
Happened last week.
I'm not out there trying to. Yeah, I'm not out there trying to. I'm not out there trying to wreck anybody. I like to keep myself clean and race hard with people.
Counter to that, what is your favorite memory that you have so far of your racing career? Obviously, I mean, you've had some high highs, you've had some low lows, but what's the highest high?
Man, I'll tell you what. From the day I was born from the first day I sat in the seat to now, every memory, every person, I've had so much love coming from every direction. Like everybody's ever, I've had James Andrews and that crew with my first real ride.
Right.
They were amazing. I was like their son. You know what I mean? I've had so many second families from racing like
Sure.
that. Like I call Mr. James and Miss Phyllis. They're practically mom and dad to me. They're awesome. We don't get to talk like we used to. Life and babies and kids and grandbabies.
Sure.
So then we had another guy that bought me. Well, yeah. And then I had another guy that gave me a street stock car to run asphalt for $1.
For $1.
Mr. Larry Shavy and his wife Pam. They were amazing to me. And then I've had Ted McDaniels, we raced together for a year. He was great. John Mariotti has given me, he's up and down in life and all over the place, but he's done nothing but good for me.
Great guy, yeah.
Charles Todd, like I said, and then I'm trying to think. I want to name all of them.
So more so just the people you've connected with,
Oh, but it's family. It's
Yeah,
not. It's
exactly.
not even down to my competitors. I got guys, I got guys. It's just like what. Anyways, but yeah, I just want to. It's just been one amazing experience. I've had
Right.
people, everybody. I've met so many friends, and even down in the new crew. You got Mike lives right across the street from me, checks
Right.
in with me, helps me every chance he gets. You got Robbie who was helping Robbie Disher. He jumped over and helped us, and has been like, he's become family. Mike's become family, and we got Mickey on board now, and like he's becoming a piece of the family. I'm working for him now. I
Yeah.
work for Robbie and loved working for both of them. Amazing bosses. Hey, we didn't go to the people. My 3 favorite drivers. We missed that out.
Oh, yeah, we'll do it before we end.
Yeah, as always, I'll stick with Robbie Disher. Robbie Disher was my favorites. Gerald Mintz and Ed Gibbons.
Okay.
That's who I pulled for, and so I just
Robbie was one of my favorites too when I was a
I
kid.
love- yeah, that 41 is pretty, man. I
It
hope
was.
I hope
It
he can
was.
find his way back to the track and
Yeah.
get things pointed in a good direction.
Yeah, me too.
But anyways, but no, it's and then like I said, I've had and speaking of family, like my mom and dad have like they do anything to get me to the racetrack.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And like people pray for parents like I have,
Oh, yeah.
and then like I said, I mean they really do. You can't beat the love and the support they've given me. And,
Well, and not just your mom. I mean, your sisters will do anything in the world
God.
for you.
Yeah,
They're
both- yeah,
they're great
both-
people. You
yeah.
know.
Sissy and Sarah, they've sacrificed. They've seen me get $50,000 cars and not whine whenever they're driving older cars. And
Yeah.
the same thing, I got lucky to have a wife that'll go change a tire. You know what I mean? Like she don't go with us as much as she used to because of the baby and for the first time I've got physical help. You know what I mean? So like. She doesn't have to do what she used to. Now she can come and just hang out.
Yeah.
But, and then we met up with y'all, and y'all
Yeah.
went with us with the YouTube, and I missed that because we actually,
Well-
I didn't realize until recently we were up to 600
Yeah.
subscribers, and I didn't
Well,
know with 1,000, over 1,000, you start getting
I just wish that I had a clone. I could send. One of us to
Yeah.
go to Sumter and one of us to go with you. It's just a lot, but. Obviously, when Sumter's off, I travel with you. I mean, it's not like guys. Me and Banjo, the whole thing's not broken up. Wicked Fab's still there. I'm trying my best to have enough time, but I work a full time job. I get home, sometimes 7, 8 o'clock at night.
I know where you work.
Yeah, you've done that before.
That's the hardest life you ever have.
It is.
But no, just the whole racing experience. I've had so much love and compassion thrown at me,
Right.
and behind me, and like I said, I feel like we've had a bunch of people that should have got behind us that didn't. I feel like I've got more potential and still more driving
Oh yeah.
ability to show to the world, and as soon as I feel like I'm
Still young as
well,
bright.
as soon as I feel like I've lost it, I'm gonna pick up, whether it's Dawson if he wants to race, whatever he wants, or pick up some young kid from Sumter, to I'm gonna stick home when I find a driver. I'm not gonna go looking for somebody. I'm gonna find somebody and make one, but. That's what I like about that's just the whole thing has just been one big family experience with love in every direction. I can't I've been extremely blessed bringing the good Lord into it.
Right.
It's been an amazing journey. Everybody, even down to my preacher, comes to watch me on Saturday nights.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's a great dude. I love him, preacher, man.
something I wanted to say though is I am for the first time ever. I don't know if you've seen it, like maybe not in steel block world, but summer's getting tough.
Yes, it is. You're
Like
right.
you got their street stock guys that are traveling and they're top 5 cars, and that's you haven't seen that.
That's what I was talking with Austin and Mikey about. Like you see cars that like guys that are local to Sumter, dude, they are kicking ass
Yeah.
wherever we go. Cameron's won quite a few races this year. Austin, of course, has dominated Sumter, and you got you going out of town winning races. Blake's fast. Blake didn't show up tonight, so he ain't fast. But everybody's quick around here now, and the competition just at the racetrack is unmatched.
Yeah.
These guys are racing hard, man.
Thunder Bomber guys, man.
Oh yeah, Thunder Bomber guys too. I forget about them.
It's the top. Unless Rod Tucker or the Night guys show up, which they're probably the fastest around here, Thunder Bomber wise. Street stock wise, the late model class is tough. You got. It's just nice to see something growing, and it's also nice to see drivers that work hard, like, little Dalton Hodge. He doesn't have the backing that everybody's got, and like I said, he's won some Blue Ridge races.
And
the little sucker can get it, man.
Yes, he can.
Yeah, you give that boy a dry racetrack and a car that's turning, and he can make it happen. And then you got. We got a bunch of talent. We got, Austin's getting his stuff together, and he's rock and rolling. Mikey's finally running strong. And then I got, I always say that Cameron Holloway and, if Tanner ever gets back in the car, they got a guy to give.
Little Terry too,
Yeah, I got to put Little Terry. Little Terry's just consistently good.
He is, yeah. Wherever he goes, he's a top 3 car.
Yeah, he just got to find that little edge. But yeah, because Little Terry's just, I really like working with Little Terry and setting his cars up. Him and Big Terry, that's another, what I consider a racing family. Terry calls me once, twice a week. We talk about cars. Even before I did work on their little cars, on their street stock stuff, we've always talked back and forth. And like I said, we've had so many people. Like me and Austin Rodanis talk. Me and Justin and Austin Mintz talk a lot. Me and Dalton Hodge talk setup. And I feel like we all honestly try to help each other. And you don't find many racetracks that have a group of guys
that are more like a family.
Yeah, I'd call it more like, I wouldn't say family to that because we do race against each other.
Sure, yeah.
But on the track,
it's like a big old frat house.
It's more like, that's a better way to put it. You got a bunch of guys that, like if I'm going to Gaffney, don't run there much, I can call Austin or Justin. I honestly think they're going to give me the right advice.
Don't call Austin about Gaffney. Don't call Austin about Gaffney.
Austin
Rodanis.
Oh, no. Last time I seen Austin there, he tried to leave.
He tried to leave the track.
Yeah, but he's got his stuff back together, and it's nice to see him back
fast.
to winning, man. He's rocking like that's something I told him the night that he went one night, not last night, but the night the track was so fast, he run almost identical time, like 4 laps in a row. And that's what a lot of people don't look at, but that's something that I want to look at when I'm racing against somebody. Like, so when I see somebody running that consistent, it's like, okay, this is a guy that can run with me. You know what I mean? So. That's something to be proud of whenever you see somebody that, a lot of guys, you'll see a 17-1, and then you go 17-5, 5, 5, 5. But then you got, Austin the other night, I texted him, I was like, man, this is how you run big races. You win big races. It was like, he run a 4. And it was like, it wasn't like a 4.05,
right?
4.75, 4.75. It was like 4.03, 4.05,
right.
4.07. I mean, that's
consistency.
That's what you want to see.
The most consistent guy is out there right now?
Who's
James Murphy.
James Murphy. Oh,
look at James's time. They are all consistently
James
right there
together.
together.
One that needs somebody to get behind him and get him a car.
Yeah.
James is going to be something good if he could just get it. He just needs a newer car. He's got an older car and on older shots, but for what he does and what he has, he does.
He's outperforming it.
Yeah, he does really good. And and a lot of people overlook James, but James is consistently. He's extremely consistent.
Yeah.
He just needs a good car. That car, I drove the car. It's a good car, but it is harder to handle.
It's a 15-year-old car.
Yeah, it's harder to handle.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'd call it the shocks maybe more than the car and needing to go through it. But Jane, you talking about a nice.
Somebody put some money behind that kid. He's quiet. He won't start you any trouble. Like if somebody's looking for a driver, that's the one.
Talk about a nice.
Great family,
it's, all of them. Mark,
exactly.
James, his brother. I mean, they got both of them. One's you get a double package, which
exactly,
is cool. So what's the brother's name? I'm terrible.
Jared.
Jared. Yeah, so you got Jared. So like once Jared gets once Jared,
you're good. You were good. I can fix it. Cash, come here, buddy.
But once Jared. once Jared gets to a little more know-how in the car, you're going to have a team when they come.
That was amazing. I'm sorry.
So it's just nice to see, and then even
oh Lord, there's oh gosh,
what's that? Matt, you got Matt.
Oh, Matt Prison.
You got a younger crowd as a driver. See, there was a big gap. There's nobody. It was like I was the youngest guy forever.
Yeah.
And then there's nobody in between me in that age group, other than I think Tony Ayers is out there.
Yeah.
But I mean but there's a huge gap between me and Austin in that group.
Yeah. There it is.
So in age wise, and it's good to see another crew coming and showing speed, and it's just I'm
show how far racing's coming right now, man. It's come back a lot.
Yeah, I hope
because I know you can attest to it. There was a time there where Sumter Speedway was kind of on the verge, wanting to close down, and then that was
we were going through that. What do you call it? Not a.
It was a depression. It was basically a depression. It was a recession, is what it was.
It's a recession. 2005, 2010. Racing was terrible. And I feel like that kind of might have hurt my game when it come to trying to get big sponsors and big rides, because that's when I was winning a lot of Sumter, but a lot of people weren't coming.
Yeah.
But when they did have big races, we won big races, and that goes back to you were talking about the biggest highlights of my life.
Sure.
Both super races at Sumter that I won were probably the highlights. Winning the other
when was the first, hold on? When was because I know you won the ultimate race. Mm-hmm. What was the other one? The
first one was see, they didn't have all the series back then. They had Carolina Clash,
right,
and then they had Board of Outlaws.
Sure.
And Lucas Oil. You had
Havatampa at the time.
No, that time.
Was it Lucas Oil then?
Lucas Oil and Board of Outlaws. Where Lucas Oil just came in, but it was just a regular super race that local. It's kind of it's pretty much the Carolina Clash crew, and we won one night against G.R. Smith and. Yeah. We won one night. We won against, it was G.R. Smith, Ed Gibbons, Chuck Paxton.
Sure.
They had a pile of local super drivers that were strong come, and we won that race. That was when I won it with steel block race. I won 2 super races without a super motor.
Yeah.
To get the super motor, we didn't run as good as I'd like. But I just really need, if I go back super racing, I need to go straight to the track. I need to go to Sumter, test, Gaffney's, test, then race.
Right.
I should have done that first. We jumped right out there. Went to racing, and I just didn't test like I needed to.
Good advice. I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah.
Next time you put the super motor in the car, we're going to test everywhere.
We tested
Lakeview, you know.
Yeah. That was that was a good test. That was on a new shut program with Wesley, and all in all, but we're hoping to get things rolling with State Tree and Advanced Doors and Johnson Landscaping and Grading this year, and really get a better program going, and then even getting Robbie in his car so we can travel more. And
sure,
I hate Robbie going in his car being loose on the exit and trying to figure out what to do with the Camaro whenever I feel like the Monte Carlo is just somewhat,
that's much better. Yeah,
it's just better across the board. It's kind of like the Hoosier AR. The right racetrack, I think a Camaro would kill a Monte Carlo. Right. It's not even a comparison. It's just like that 48. You get that 48 to fire against the 1350, 48 will fly.
Yeah,
but it's 1 out of 10, and that's the same thing with the Monte Carlo Camaro situation. But no, all in all, like I said, it's been one of the best rides I've ever been on when it comes to just finding people.
And it ain't over yet.
No,
that's the good. I personally, I mean, obviously you've been doing this for almost 20 years now, and you hadn't reached your peak yet. No, in my opinion,
you're always getting better. You're always getting better, and like I said, the main thing is just, and I try to help like Dalton Hodge a lot. I tell him to watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Always watch the cars, watch the people, watch times, watch and that's like and Dalton impressed me like crazy. He came to Fayetteville and helped me the other week, and that's what made me realize this kid's gonna be something. Was we got there late, didn't get to put transponder in, and we go out there and practice. I come in, I'm kind of frustrated. We don't have a transponder. The car felt fast. We don't know, and guess what? He's timed me.
Right.
Which means he's wanting to see what the race car does. And then we get under there, and I show him what the car does, and I show him what the car does and why it did this. And when we missed it on qualifying, when we messed up on that tire, we put the other tire on, and it was a harder tire. And I showed him why, and he's listening, he's learning, and that's what's going to make him. He's going to be really good. Just keep him calm on the track. He's going to be really good, if somebody can give him a little help and get him a better car, a newer car, and stuff like that. And then that's the same thing with Austin Rodanis. Austin Rodanis goes to the track, and those two are probably the ones at Sumter Speedway right now that is in their mind is 24/7 racing.
Yeah.
I mean, they have family, they have friends, they have stuff, but they wake up, they sleep, they dream racing, and that's why you see them shining. I feel like they those two. I mean, you got your Mints boys. You know what I mean? They're already there. You know what I mean?
They got it.
Yeah, they're you know what I mean. So I don't want to ever exclude them because they're already there. But you know, for the most part, especially Dalton. You know, you don't see Dalton out partying.
Nope.
You don't see him out getting drunk, or you don't see him at a bar, or you don't see him in trouble. You see him at the race shop tinkering. You know, I'll ride by there leaving my wife's parents' house looking, and their lights are on. I'll go by and talk to him. And that's the same thing with Austin or Don. So honestly, you know, he parties and drinks a little bit.
Yeah, he does.
But like I said, you know, 4 days out of the week he's at the shop.
Yeah.
Doing things, you know what I mean? And also, you know, then we also got the old Moondog, Robbie.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Robbie's
I
larger.
think that sucker's coming in and people are like, hey, this cat ain't no bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's been watching it for years. He's figuring it out.
He's just smooth as hell. You know, he gets
is.
a little nervous in a crowd, but when he's by himself, that man can get. You talking about somebody that just jumps in a race car, never raced in his life, raced out racing, and he is. You look at his times; they are extremely consistent.
Yeah.
First real year race. He didn't race last year. No,
he raced half the year last year.
Did he?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because you bought that. Y'all bought.
Oh, they bought that car. I drove it.
Yeah.
When that racing got thrown out, wasn't it?
No.
I know he had the old wrap. That's right. Yeah,
yeah.
That year
Y'all
before.
had the year before last.
So he raced
y'all
a
bought
little
that
bit.
car.
He tinkered last year.
And he raced last year for
we
a little while.
rebuilt it. Yeah. So he comes in this year. He wins 2 in a row in one night. But you know, when he get like lap times on him, he's just so
It's consistent.
smooth.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's got some speed to get. But like I said, so you got 3 guys, and like Robbie's doing all that with a family. You know what I mean? And so you got those guys that are doing that. And like I said, that's what I forgot why we got on the subject, but I'm saying that's what Sumter's getting to. You got guys that are starting to shine outside of Sumter.
It's
you know
great for me. I love it.
Yeah, and then even down to the little 4-cylinder class, you know.
Yeah,
Michael Crouch
exactly.
is finally going out there with a bomber car. What do you call it?
SCDRA cars.
Yeah, Michael Crouch. You know, and that's another one that is unbelievably consistent. You go back and check that sucker's times, and they were
smart.
Yeah. Michael thinks above, but like him, but like I said, you got in the Kellers, and Dalton's in that class too. But you got about 13 guys at Sumter or somewhere in that range. I don't know the same name of all that are like starting to just venture out and get stronger and stronger.
And a lot of guys that are wanting to do that as well. And yeah, we got a great group of guys now.
Yeah, and that's
great group of guys.
Sumter's, like I said, Sumter's getting to a place where it's going to be like right now that Sumter Street Stock class. Like
can't touch them.
You can touch them. Anytime you say that, an out of towner comes out there and busts it.
Well, yeah, true. But
as far as I'm saying, when out of towners, used to be out of towners came in those classes and they just destroyed people.
Yeah, true.
Because they had the most expensive cars.
Yeah,
now Sumter's got the most expensive cars. Sumter's got the best stuff. That then when out of towners come, you know, they're like
it's a handful for them.
Yeah, especially the street stock class. You're not going to go to street stock class and rake over on them boys. I don't care who you are. You might come and win easy, but it's not going to be easy every time.
I mean, it's the same in the late model classes now. It's the same with the Thunder Bomber classes because you see
late model as long as it's dry. With the smaller motors.
Yep.
As long as it's dry, you're going to have one of the Mints boys.
Yep.
We're going to be right there. One of the Mints boys, us, and now some of the Lakeview guys are coming over.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when it's dry, that top crowd, that top 3 guys that come to Sumter every weekend, they're going to be tough.
Daggone right.
You know, I'd like to see us when we get a little bit of motor. Like if Justin gets a little bit more motor, you know,
Sure.
or Austin or myself, and even when you go down, you know, the guys you don't see win as much as like Tony Ayers. With Tony, I've always said if Tony would race every weekend and just keep it going,
great,
yeah, Tony can wheel, man.
Hey,
Tony's good. Yeah, he's good. He has his moments. He just has a whole night. He has really bad luck, but like I said, you know, Tony's just he just needs to race more.
Yeah,
and that's like where I'm at
right.
now with myself. That's what I'm hoping to do starting next week is just get to the racetrack and race more. Because driving is not the part, it's stay on top of the car.
Right.
That's the main part.
Okay. Well, let's get late. One last question. One more question. We'll do one more. Let's do this one. This one's always interesting. What is you can name multiple here, but what is the goal race? Is there any one particular or multiple races that you have in mind that you have to race and or want to win more than any others by the time that you have to hang it up? Just go ahead and say Eldora. I know you're going to say it.
I won't know. I mean, I want to race at Eldora. I want to race at Eldora, Lucas Oil Speedway.
Okay.
I want to race at one of those tracks. They just look fun. The racing's always good. As far as winning, I've won, and I feel like I'm proud of what I've done, and I feel like if I never win, which I want to win, but if I never won again, I've been in a place that's just I'm just so happy where I'm at.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say Eldora would be the one place I'd
The one?
Yeah.
So I've always thought, obviously like, what's it, East Bay?
No,
Tracks around there, I've always leaned towards more southeastern tracks, but dude, we went to Eldora. Everybody's seen it by now. It's out there. And you walked around that place, and I have never seen anybody almost just. I'm not gonna say that. You were just walking around with this look on your face, like, man, I've made it. I'm home.
Well, that's what a lot of I think a lot of drivers mess up. I walk around Eldora and I'm just like, I know I can do this. I know I can do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Somebody puts me in a supercar.
Like you're about to climax. Somebody walking around that place.
Yeah, well, somebody just like I said, when I look at that place, or I look at Sonoa, or when I see them race it, I look at it, and I'm watching them online, and I told like Dalton Hodge this, I told Austin Rodonis this. When I see it done, I look at it, I'm like, I know I can do it. Somebody put me in that car.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying.
Give me a season, and I promise I'll be one of them top 10, top 15 guys.
That's exactly what it was, because we were walking around there, and you were like, you looked at me and Taylor and your wife, and you were like, I can drive here. I can do this. Mm-hmm. And that was a special moment, I think, for all of us to have that experience together. That was a fun day, too. I think, that was a weird trip, but that was a fun day.
I think I rethought my favorite memory, too.
Oh, Lord.
It just popped up. Favorite memory, no lie, so far. Well, my dad always gave me a good one when I get out the race car. I won that super race, and he rubbed my head,
Yeah,
I'm going to transfer that to me being a dad. Going to Charlotte and running like we did with that street stock car and hopping out the car with, I think it was Dawson's first race. Mm-hmm. And just seeing him and my wife right there running up to the car, that was it. She gives me hell. She's like, all you want to do is grab him and you left me. But I did not. And mentally, a lot of people around me, but like she's, and I can vouch for anybody. When you're married and you race cars, whether it's full time, half time, that race car takes a lot of family time. And for somebody to be with somebody that understands that and tries to back you as much as they can, that's another one of those blessings, because to race, you're away. Back when we were trying to get the business going, and I was racing last year, I mean, it was like one night a week I got to spend with her, and she was pregnant. You know what I mean? So, and it's not, in one way it's not fair, and it's like, it tears you, because you like I'll say that anybody, race car drivers, they have like massive hearts, and they have massive passion, because it takes a lot of passion to do so much work on hot days with every dime you got, everything about it to get together. You're killing family time, you know what I mean? But you're doing something that you love, just your purpose, I'd say. Mm-hmm. And like, it's hard to find somebody that backs that, and Stacy does, and she's been, really good to me with that, and like I said, I love her to death for it. But getting out of that race car in Charlotte and seeing him, that's it, man.
Okay,
that was killer.
Following that last question, that's the last one. What is the legacy that you want to leave for your son?
Well, so
because
like I said, so far as locally, I feel like if I quit racing now, mm-hmm. I feel like anybody that he ever talks to would be like, that guy do anything to help anybody.
Sure.
Like, I go to the track, and like, that's one thing I miss the most about trying to run a business with, when me and Mickey went in and partnered up and realized it was just so much time, took so much time away from family. And Mickey sat me down, I was like, man, you're making money, but it ain't the money that you should be making for how much you're working.
Right.
and I miss helping people because I right now there's so many people I feel so bad that I helped. They're like, hey, can you help me this weekend? Can you come work on the car? And Terry Cables is one of them. You know, come over here and help me with the right front setup on this. And I got to tell no because family comes first. And then right now we're trying to get 3 race cars together.
Right.
And it's the hardest thing in the world to tell people that you care about no. Because you got to do something else, you know what I mean?
You're exactly right.
Anyways, I kind of got off subject, but
Well, more so just saying, like, say he decides to want to drive here in a couple of years,
Yeah.
like, how do you take your experience, your knowledge, and I guess say want him to be better than you ever were in a way, something like that.
If he came in and was like, if he comes to me, because like I said, I'm not gonna push it on him. If he comes to me and he wants to race, I'll probably end up. The odds are, I'll probably end up quitting and just going all in on him. But if he wants to race and I really want to train him to race, I'm gonna kind of go. I always liked what Billy Moyer did. He made his son a crew chief.
Yeah.
And then taught him how to drive.
Right.
And I think it hurt Billy Moore Jr. in some situations, but like I want to do that while he's driving.
Right.
So watching videos, I'm going to take him races and get him to watch places. I'm not going to take him. I feel like the biggest mistake all these big money guys do is spend $1 million, throw their son in the middle of everybody. He's wrecking cars, tearing up cars. So I did it somewhat with Robbie.
From the bottom.
I did it with Robbie, and then not really work from the bottom, but just teach him the car, and that's what I learned later. Teach him the car, go out to the track, test with him, get to where he's within that second speed.
Right.
Then we go race. Start in the rear every race. Start in the rear every single race. And I tell everybody about I've said this. Start in the rear every race. Work is and just work on times.
Right.
Let's race the leader's times. You start way back, almost get lapped, and then go. And when you start running the leader's times, or you start qualifying up front, then you're ready to race.
Right.
I think it's crazy to stick a young kid or anybody new just in the middle of the field.
Right.
'Cause they don't know if they're getting better. They don't know what the car is doing because they're watching the car in front of them. And as far as that's what I would.
You don't think you'll have trouble with turning off from pushing yourself to try to be the best race car driver into being his dad, his crew chief.
Yeah, I do. I think the trouble will be is like, which I mean, I can't say that because I'm not that good. But if I say that, it could. I'm not even.
Well, no, I'm not saying you're the best.
I was just trying to say
like
like Michael Jordan trying to be a coach.
Exactly.
He was terrible. He was a terrible coach because he expected everybody to play like him. So I'm gonna try. If I do, I'm gonna try to go in with the expectations that he's not me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not saying that he's not better or worse, but because I know Michael Jordan in racing, but we'll call Brandon Overton that or Austin O'Neill or something like that. But just going in with no expectation,
right?
And if it comes time where he's just not good, making him realize, we're just making him realize you're just not that good. You know what I mean?
Messed up.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you at some point,
you're right. You're
yeah,
right.
but maybe it's just not your hobby. You know what I mean? And like, and at some point in time, I feel like there's a lot of people that need to realize that they spend a bunch of money and they just don't get everything. If you're not getting better, you need to work on it. And if he doesn't get better, I'll work on him, and we'll figure out a way to find speed and balance on the car and feel. But as far as a legacy, I'd like to get out and run, and which I feel like we've proved ourselves in the crate and in the street stock, running off the road and winning races and winning some big races. We won some big crate races and ran really good in the crate stuff. Won some big street stock races and ran really good in that. I'd like to get into the steel blocks and supers and win some races in that. And that way, I'll be more local. But if I don't win again, I feel like if he ever goes to something Speedway, I feel like it's a name. I'm a name that'll be brought up of being fast and
that, and obviously you're gonna want his first memories to be of you and him and Stacey and your wife at the track, in Victory Lane, working on the car, this kind of stuff. So I mean, all in all, I think the kid's set up pretty good.
Yeah, he's good. Whatever he's good. He's never gonna have an opportunity where doesn't have a chance to be the best. And like I mean, I kind of hope he gets into sports a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Stacy played soccer, and I kind of liked soccer, but they didn't have it in our school. So I kind of wish if he gets into that, I'll back him. I played ball, and if he plays baseball, I got him on that. And if he wants to race, I also got him. It's no big deal.
I know he's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's about everything.
I think
it's been about an hour and a half. It's been a good episode so far.
I think everybody's listening is like, oh man, this guy talks.
It's got real philosophical, but it was a good conversation. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Banjo. We'll call you Banjo. This is David Duke. But thank you so much, and definitely gonna have to do this again sometime. Mm-hmm. And
what we need to do is get a group, man. Let's just get all the guys.
We do.
We have a circle powwow,
like a Dale Jr. download type show. Just have everybody piled in. That's an idea, man.
And put the two to hate each other right beside each other.
I'm gonna do it. Yeah, let's go. I'll
have assigned seats. Oh, I didn't. Put I don't know anybody that's not getting along, but you put two guys that got in wreck last week, two more guys that just talk crap.
Make them talk it out.
Oh, I didn't mean to put you beside that guy. I'm sorry.
It's a great platform. But yeah, man, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
Definitely got to do it again sometime. Go check out all David's stuff, the Wicked Fabrication Facebook page. I'll try to get that back up and running here very soon. I apologize for being lackluster. I got a million other things, but check him out. Follow his personal page, David Banjo Duke. And y'all check all their stuff out. But yeah, this has been Talking Dirt, and I'm going to record some more stuff later, so I'll end the episode.
That's fine.